Alright, welcome back, YouTubers. Going to try to make a little more progress on this kit guitar that I've been asked to put together. And I've got a helper with me in the workshop today. It's actually who I'm doing the guitar for. As I mentioned, it's a gift for a guy in our band, but his wife is actually my daughter. I guess I could tell you, since this probably won't get posted until after Christmas anyway, this whole series of videos. And what we're doing today is figuring out what color we want to do everything. Kind of have an idea of the stain that we're going to use. We're just going to use some Minwax stain, and I've got red oak here, and I've got this. I think this piece of wood here is just a piece of poplar, and it's a similar tone, as you can see, to the guitar. So we're going to use this piece and just put some stain on here and see what we come up with. And whatever we decide to use, we're going to do a lighter version of that for the neck and the back of the headstock. So we're just going to spend a little bit of time here playing around and hopefully get this thing stained today. And I've decided, I think I mentioned in the last video, that I was going to tape off this binding and all of that. I decided against that. I think once it's stained, I'll just take a razor blade and just go back and scrape the stain off of the binding, and I don't think that's going to be a big deal at all. So I'm going to set this aside, and then we're going to use this piece of poplar there to try to do some staining. So again, I've got just Minwax here. I've already stirred it up, so we're in good shape there. And I think I've got some natural Danish oil. This one's already open, so I can't hold it for you up in the camera, but it's just Minwax red oak. This is just Danish oil, natural, and I know this stain says not to thin, but I've done it before and it works fine. So we'll thin that down, mix the two products together, and come up with something that we like that's a nice contrast in color to what we decide for the top, back, and side. So the body of the guitar, basically, in the front of the headstock. So here we go, and I'm just going to put this on with a paper towel. And the stain, the way the stain works, if you've never messed with it, is the stain, the longer you leave it on, the more it penetrates and the darker that it is. So I'm going to start out and do a couple of different sections here, maybe just this end section, and I will put it on. Let me actually get a couple of paper towels. We'll do one section here. I think the back of the can says you can wait 5 to 15 minutes. I don't think we're going to wait 15 minutes, but I think right here we're going to just put it on and immediately wipe it off, see what it looks like. I've got some gloves on here so I don't make a huge mess of my hands, because the stain will do that. So that's the red oak on there, and immediately wiped back off. So on this next section here, I think I'm just going to put some on, and we're going to wait a few minutes, and I'll kick you into time lapse or edit this part out so you don't wait around while we're waiting. But this section here, I'm going to rub in a little bit more, and I kind of have to remember what I'm doing here. That way, whatever we decide, I have to go back and do the same thing on the guitar. So there's that, and we're going to let that sit for a couple of minutes. Alright, I'll bring you back in here really quickly. I think we've decided what we're going to do. You can see the difference. Hopefully you can see the difference on the camera there. And you're under the bright shop light here. If we go over into the natural light I've got a window over there, And so if we kind of go there, it really brings out maybe angle it one way or the other, and that might help you see. Really like the darkness, and you can also still see the grain of the wood along with that dark color. So I think we both agree this dark color, as opposed to this was just put on and wiped back off. This we actually put on and I haven't wiped it at all. It's just sitting on there, and I think maybe you'll just leave it on there and just see how it dries at this point. But I do like that. So that'll be, this will end up being the stain color for the entire body, the top, back, and sides, and then the very front of the headstock on the neck. Alright, so the next piece that we're going to play with, hopefully I've got something I can mix this. Alright, we'll just use a plastic cup here. It'll be fine. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead, I think I'm going to mix it, I think I'm going to do a 50-50 mix. We've got to find something that's lighter. I think this is even almost too dark for the back of the neck. Don't you?
Yes.
So we could just try, I've got the Danish oil, see how that does. Just the natural. I don't think there's going to be enough in that color wise.
No.
So yeah, but what we can do is grab some of this, this is where if you had a science experiment kit as a kid, mixing all this stuff together, and I think that's going to be probably going to be too dark, I think. But we'll try it and see. That's 50-50 mix there. It's not bad. A little dark, I think.
Yeah, but not bad.
Let's put a dropper full of the Danish oil in there. Mix that in. We'll just keep piddling around till we get color that we like. It's kind of the game you have to play at this point. Son was over talking to him about the kit, and he said, "Oh, that's a neat idea, but I would want it to be red." That's what he said to me. It's getting closer.
I like that.
So that was a 2-to-1 mix. I think if we went 3-to-1, I think that would. What do you think? Try it?
Yep. Red as in he wanted red paint?
Yes. Or a red stain, like a bright red. So he's like, yeah, I think that's a cool idea, and I would totally like a guitar like that, a jazz style hollow body, but I would want it to be red. So I'm like, okay. You know, they make red dyes and stains and stuff, so could definitely do that. Alright, one more test here. And this is the 3-to-1 mix, so 3 parts Danish oil to 1 part of the red oak stain. And I'm putting it on and then immediately wiping it back off. Yeah, I think that's the one. We'll do the 3-to-1 mix and bumping that right up next to that. And then once we put some, make it shiny and pretty, I think it'll be nice. I think that works. It's a nice contrast, but it still has a little bit of color.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can see that, how long that's set on there. That's nice. Alright, we ready to set up and stain this thing?
Let's do it.
Alright, going to pause you for a minute up there. Hang out with us and take us a few minutes to get set up. Just be a couple of seconds your time. We'll see you back here in just a second. Alright, welcome back. I think we're almost ready. Got a tack cloth here. I'm just going to wipe guitar down. In the last episode I did all of the sanding and got that done, but we just want to make sure there's no dust, you know, sawdust and all of that gets mixed in with the stain. So we're just wiping down. This is very sticky, by the way. So the sawdust and all that just sticks to it. So we should be good there. And then this is the front. Uh-oh, I touched it. Ah. Hopefully that'll blend in. We might have to sand it. Apparently had some stain on my gloves, but I think where this is, it'll be okay. And we're going to tag team this and get it stained. Okay, got everything wiped down. We're going to start with the back. And again, I took the, I didn't tape off the binding, just to remind you of that. I'm going to scrape that down because I'm sure it's going to be way too dark. So I'm going to scrape that down when we're done. And then I took the guitar body. It came in this bag, kind of padded type bag to protect it, I guess. Well, what I did is I split that in half and stuck it inside here, and that way if any of the stain drips in, you won't be able to see it through the F-holes. So that's just to protect. I don't really care here because the pickups are going here and you won't see that, but this area is open. So I have that back there to just catch any of the stain if it drips through. But we're going to start on the back. And we're going with the straight stain. I'll try not to block you too much up there. I got you on the overhead camera today. And I'm going to start on this end. She's going to start on that end. And again, with all of this, recommend as you're sanding and finishing and all that, go as much as you can with the grain of the wood. So, and again, we decided we just like the look of as dark, almost as dark as we can get this particular stain is how we are going for it. So here we go. Soaking it up quite a bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
And with the way the stains work, if we happen to get this on here and we think it's not dark enough, what we'll do is come back and put another coat of the stain on the guitar. So that's always an option with any of these stains or dyes, whatever you're using. And what we're looking for is we want to end up with a coat that, or a look that's pretty even all the way across. So as we're putting this on here, if one of us gets a little more heavy-handed than the other, we can fix that by just putting some more stain on there. What are you thinking? Darker?
Yeah, I'll probably need to put another coat on there. You just do that right away?
That's what I think. You've built a guitar kit as many times as I have, so we'll see how it goes. I think where we need some motors right in here. Try to make some runs all the way down as much as I can here to try to get it as even as possible. We want it nice and dark, but we want it even as well. What we may do is just go ahead and do the sides and let it soak in and dry for a little bit, and we may have to come back and hit it again after that. That's kind of the process over the whole guitar, so let me give you a good view of that so you can kind of see. I'm still not sure that's darkness wise where we want to be, so I'm probably going to have to hit this some more times to get it as dark as we want it to be. But just to show you, bring it up a little bit maybe so you can see. That's where we are for now. I'm going to pause the camera here and we're going to go ahead and do the sides and the front and let things soak in for a little bit and kind of come back. We've got some runs there, so we need to kind of deal with that. So here we go. I'm going to pause the camera and try to make some progress on our end, and we'll bring you back.
Yeah.
Alright, let me bring you back in really quickly, kind of show you where we are. I think we're going to have to do multiple coats just the way it's soaked in, but everything is at least covered at this point, and trying to hold it, I guess, as I can so you can see it there. It's still just really wet, so it's going to take, as you can see the gloves there, so it's going to take some time for it to dry, so we're going to give it some time, try to figure out some way maybe I can hang it up in here. and let it do its thing. And I just wanted to give you a look at that. I think what I'll do now is I'll pause you again, get this off somewhere where it can do its thing, drying and stuff, and we'll grab the neck and figure out what we're going to do finish wise on that. So we'll be back with you in just a second. Alright, welcome back. Figured out a way. I've got the body hanging kind of over that way, and pulled the neck out, and gonna have to hold off just a little bit on doing the back, and then especially this bottom area here, because I need to put the neck in the guitar and do some marking across here, because I don't want the stain to be in this area where it's getting glued, because it's an oil-based stain, and we need this all just the raw wood for the wood glue. So, but there is a little part here that's going to get stained, and around up in here a little bit, and I'm not sure about this. Is the side I'm not sure about. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is just work on the headstock a little bit, and I'm holding it with a paper towel here because the stain just gets everywhere, and I don't want the dark stain on the back. And I'm going to try as much as possible, because I only want the very top of the headstock to be this dark color. So got people here in the house trying to be comedic relief in the background for you on my videos. So alright, I'm gonna just gonna go for this. Worst case scenario, we have to wipe it off really quickly and then do maybe a little more sanding to bring that back if it happens to go over the edge. But I'm gonna do my best to try to just keep it on the top part. So may end up doing this in multiple layers, multiple thin layers, just to keep the stain where I want it to go. And again, I mentioned in one of the earlier videos we're going to be putting a logo up here, and I've contacted the guy and he's working on that, so hopefully that'll be in soon. And when we get to that point of being ready to put the final touches, as I think I mentioned to you, I'm doing a poly finish on this, not doing lacquer. And I know some of the purists out there will probably send me hate mail for that, but I don't have a body shop at my house, and you almost need a body shop to do a good lacquer finish. So we're going to get a really good result, and it would probably surprise you the number of guitars these days that are actually done with a poly finish anyway. So yeah, I think, can you see that down in here? I think if I keep the stain minimal amount around the edges, I think I'm going to be okay. So I'm going to try that. It's not as dark, anywhere near as dark as it needs to be, but I'll just have to do multiple layers, multiple coats. But it's kind of like cutting the wood. It's easier, it's always easier to do more. But if you do too much at the beginning, it's kind of hard to go backwards. So that's true with any of this stuff. Alright, so let me try to push off of that edge. I'm kind of pushing off the edge and then lifting away, so I'm hoping, I can't see it at the moment, but I'm hoping that it's not running over the edge. Oh no, that's good. Okay. And then I'm going to try to do the same thing here on this edge. to just keep us right on the top. All right. I'm pretty happy with that. Just needs to be darker. But yeah, it's just going to take multiple coats. It's kind of like the body. Pretty happy with how it looks. It's just not dark enough. So I think it's just going to be multiple layers of the stain to get it where we want it to be. So, again, I'm just trying to keep the stain on the very top of the headstock at this point. And just using minimal amounts of the stain to keep it from running everywhere. It's so runny, it just wants to go all over the place. And I really don't want it to go all over the place, so I want it to go where I want it to go. It's always the way. Stain's kind of like my wife. I want one thing and she wants another thing, and we compromise and end up with what she wants. So. Alright, there's a good look at that for you. It's just going to be more of the same until it's done. And then once I'm able to put the neck inside the guitar, I can do some marking and taping maybe across this back end to see where we need to be. And then we're going to do that mix where I think we did a 3-to-1 mix with just Danish oil to the stain, and that's going to give us just a lighter version of the same color, but there will be some contrast there. So this, I'm going to keep working this until it's as dark as we want it to be. So multiple coats and get it as dark as we want it to be. And I'm gonna, I think, just stop the video right there because you kind of see the process of how to do it. When I get everything stained, I'll bring you back in before I move on to, I think I've told you the process multiple times that I'm going to do. I'm going to do stain and then sanding sealer, probably 2 coats of the sanding sealer. Once that dries, we'll have to do some sanding, hopefully with only 320. Wipe everything down with a tack rag again, and then we can start in with the poly. And I'm going to do probably 2 to 3 coats of a semi-gloss, water-based polyurethane, and then over the top of that as many coats as we need to get the shiny gloss finish. And I'm just using a wipe-on gloss poly for that. So again, I'm going to bring you along every step of the way on this because you see how I do it. This is not necessarily a how-to video, it's a how I'm doing it. There's lots of different ways to do this, and people put together kits. There's all kinds of videos with different finishes and all of that. I'm just showing you what I'm doing, and we'll see how it turns out. So thanks for watching. Check back in soon. Those of you that follow the channel know I do some artwork. I've been working on some projects there as well, and got another video that's going to be up soon on the painting side of things. So check the channel often, and thanks for watching. Thumbs up the video if you like it, and I'll see you back real soon.